Hey, it's your old buddy Lee again. The guy that writes weird stories. I made a video tonight and explained some of the stuff that I do, but I just thought that I still have a little bit of energy left over, so I thought I'd explain a little bit more. I've been writing for a couple of years. I took writing in college when I attended college down in Bremerton, Washington in the late 70s, and I graduated in 1980 with a associate's degree. I was going to be an accountant back then when I was in my mid-20s. I saw myself as a rich executive, living in a penthouse in San Francisco, sitting on couches stuffed full of money. And I thought that an accounting degree when I was 25 years old would get me off to a good start. Well, it didn't. It was a dream, and I enjoyed it while it was a dream, but reality didn't work out like the dream did. They rarely do. Anyway, I had something that got in the way starting in about 1980, and it stayed in my way until 1923 or 24 or 20, 22 or 23. Then I started thinking about writing again. I was too busy making a living, buying diapers, paying doctor bills, paying rent, paying electric bills. I know the frustration of working for the man. Seems like you only exist to generate money so that you can send it off to somebody else. The power company, the phone company, the car insurance, the landlord, which most of the people I knew had back then. Not only a few of us ever bought a house when we were young. So yeah, a few things get in the way. It's called life. And some of you younger folks will find out about it, and some of you older folks already know. So anyway, a couple of years ago, I started trying to make the dream go. I read some articles, and it said that there's a few old people that made it as writers in their old age. Not very many, but a few. And I thought, well, maybe I can be one of the few. If I live long enough, I'll write a few more books. And maybe I'll be known as one of the old people that made it sometime. I don't know. We'll see. You'll see. I won't, but you might. But anyway, sometimes I've been asked how much money have I got wrapped up in my writing career. And I think it's about $3. I mean, I was going to buy this Lenovo Chromebook anyway to surf the web and watch movies on YouTube. I'd love to watch YouTube videos about other places in the world. A lot of them are walking tours like Oslo or Stockholm, South American cities, that kind of stuff. I love to travel through the screen because I can't afford to go there in person. And besides, I have done some traveling, and usually it's not as fun and as easy as sitting watching it on a screen. So I have zero involved in my equipment. I have some Facebook groups that I've formed, and as you know, Facebook doesn't charge you anything, but they get the benefit of all your posting. And I've posted a couple hundred videos and a couple hundred articles and stuff like that. So anyway, Facebook hasn't cost me anything. I've got 2 YouTube channels, and they haven't cost me anything. And I've got this channel you're watching right now. It's got 155 to 160 videos on it. There's some really awesome videos that I put up early in the game, but some of them have never even been seen by one viewer. I've found that most YouTube viewers are more interested in the last 10 videos that you may have posted, and they usually don't go back that far, I seriously doubt if anybody watching me right now would go back and look at the first video I ever put up. It's me playing the guitar, and I thought I did a pretty nice job on the song that I played too. But nobody's watched it or seen it for a year. And it was one of my better music videos, I thought. But no one's seen it for a long time. And I doubt if anyone will. So yeah, I don't even have paper invested in my writing hobby. Everything's either on my computer or I've transferred it to my free cloud storage. So everything I've done as far as writing goes has been free. Even the things that I've done with Kindle books, hasn't cost me a penny. My association with Amazon, they take a commission off of the sales of my books, so that they get a pretty good cut of the profits off my books. A lot of the books, author only makes maybe $2 or $3 off of each book that he sells. Sometimes it's even less than that, but I think most of the authors try to shoot for a minimum of $3 or $4 off of each book. And you know, another thing about Amazon is that there aren't very many authors that sell a lot of books on there either. You know, if you sell 100 of them in a month, you've done pretty good, and you're lucky if you've seen $300 or $400 from it. I didn't realize that when I first started, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because if I would have known the money was so meager on Amazon and there was so little to be made, I'm afraid that maybe I wouldn't have ever wrote any of those books, because I wouldn't have thought it was going to be worth it. So I'm glad for what I didn't know, or else I wouldn't have created some fantastic stories. You know, I sat here typing on those first couple stories with stars in my eyes, man. When I was typing my Viking story, The Voyage of the Jormungandr, and I was thinking of those thousands rolling in. I was thinking about staying in hotels in Stockholm on a book tour. You know, my ranch in Montana, my condo down in Florida. And I know that that's what drives a lot of authors. Maybe some of you guys out there are authors too. It's a real big popular endeavor. There's millions and millions of books go up on Amazon every day, so your chances of making it are pretty small. Even if your book's the greatest book ever written, there's just too many. There's just dump trucks full of books going up every week. It's kind of sad. I think it's almost the death of the written page, because it's just too overwhelming. And so much of it is created by artificial intelligence that it's people have got, readers are discouraged. I've noticed my sales on Amazon. They have such a selection of free books. I mean, millions of free books. If you can get millions of free books, why would you go and buy one? You know? If you can get millions of free books, why would you go pay $12.99 for somebody's book, where the free ones are probably just as good, if not better, than the one that the guy wants $12.99 for? Because you don't know until you read it. It's one of those things, is you pay your money first, then you read it, then you want your money back. You know? So it's just one of those things. I would guess, just my own feeling is that a lot of the free books are fantastic stories. But you know, it's like that old idea that anything you get for free doesn't mean as much to you than something that you have to pay for. If you had to work for it, and you had to pay for it with your own labor and your own money, it means more to you, because part of your sweat and blood went into that sucker. That's how I felt, and a lot of you guys feel about cars when you're young. My first couple of cars, man, I worked in a Mexican restaurant for $1.65 an hour. And so it meant a lot when I went to have to go buy tires or buy a battery or a starter, generator. And so that car meant a lot to me because I looked at it and saw how many hours of grueling labor I had to put into it in order to own the sucker in the first place. And I think that most of you guys, young or old, can appreciate that. That if you worked for it and you sweated for that sucker, it means more. And that's just a fact of life. Well, getting back to my writing thing, it's been a lot of fun. The dreaming of the big success, even if it never shows itself. It's been great. I always promised myself I'd have a book someday, and I kept my promise to myself. And so I'm satisfied. I've got 15 or so books under my belt, and 3 or 4 or 5 of them are pretty darn good. They're of substance. By the time I get done with the one I'm working on now, it'll have a couple thousand pages to it. It'll be almost on a par with what Stephen King did with the Gunslinger series. If you're a reader like I am, the Gunslinger series is a monumental work. I mean, it's like 7 or 8, 9 books, the big fat kind that Stephen King writes too, you know. And it's a wonderful story. It's just fantastic. I've read it several times from cover to cover and never been disappointed, never been bored, never skipped over a word. It's just that great of a story. I hope I'll find time to read it again before I kick the bucket, because it's really that good. Roland is the hero. I won't explain it, because if you've read it, you already know it, and if you haven't read it, you probably never will. So there's no reason to spend the time to tell you about it, except that I kind of looked at Stephen King's accomplishment in that Gunslinger series, and I sort of set that as a goal for myself too. You know, when you have a hero, you try to be like your hero, kind of. And he definitely was my hero. I've got all his books. I've got some of his hardcover stuff in my book collection. First editions, I went way out of my way to get them. And that's another example, is when you sweat for something, it means more to you. I paid a few bucks for some of those first editions, and they mean a lot to me. I suppose one of my surviving relatives will probably sell them at a freaking garage sale someday. But they're like my treasures, and they mean a lot. Anyway, that was part of the pleasure I've gotten in writing my own books and stories. Not to mention, as I'm writing, I really get into it, into the world of it. You know, when you're writing about a Victorian house, it's got spirits floating up and down the halls, and dead people trying to communicate with you, and you got mediums and crystal balls and spirit cabinets and spirit boards and all the stuff that goes along with it. You really get into it, and that's your world. It almost becomes as real to you as your regular waking conscience, you know. And I have to also say that getting on YouTube and telling people about my writing and that has also been very enjoyable for me. I've really appreciated it. And I've had some comments that really made it all worth it. Some of the viewers would say, "Hey, Grandpa, we really appreciate what you had to say. You made sense, Grandpa." And that pat on the back means a lot too. So anyway, thanks for watching another one of my episodes, and as long as I'm still kicking, I'll keep on putting them out. God bless you. Good night.